Hi, and welcome to part 2 of phase 4 of the book Mire Learn Korean in 40 Days. Congratulations on completing the vocabulary and grammar application sections of this book. And now that you have substantial amount of Korean knowledge and language stored in your brain, it's time to use that knowledge and have some real-time hundoke practice. So in this phase, we'll actually be reading and understanding the family pledge to begin our study of Chu parents' speeches. And before we get started, I'd like to read some of Chu father's words on the family pledge. You must understand that the family pledge is the result of extracting from the principle all the essential contents needed to establish families. Chu father. So if you have memorized the 94 vocab and the 56 grammar structures in the previous section, you will be able to read and understand 100% of the 가정맹세, the family pledge in Korean. Now keep in mind that the 가정맹세 is much more complex and difficult to understand than most of Chu parents' speeches. It's more difficult. And the reason being that each family pledge is just one giant sentence, basically. Now you might be saying it's too early for that or it's too complicated. And the reason we're going to study 가정맹세 first and early on is twofold. One, most likely you're very familiar with the family pledge in Korean because you have probably recited it hundreds or even thousands of times in Korean. And number two, practicing with the 가정맹세 will improve your ability to quickly process complex sentences. Normal sentences in comparison will seem like a piece of cake after you finish dissecting these really long ones. So there are 3 vital tips for reading Korean in general. First vital tip is word order. Korean sentences are structured as subject, then object, then verb. This is very different from English. In English, it's subject, verb, then object. For example, 하나님은 인간을 사랑하다. God, humankind, to love. This is very different from English. In English, it's God loves humankind. But in Korean, it would be God, humankind, loves. So this is important to remember when reading Korean. Vital tip number 2, deconstructing sentences. At the beginning stages of your Korean learning, you might get frustrated when looking at a complex Korean sentence or a long sentence and trying to make sense of it. I have a cure for that, so don't worry. Take this complex sentence, for example. This is from Family Pledge number 3. 전일국 주인, 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 4대 심정공과 3대 왕공과 황족권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. So the first step to deconstructing this long sentence is to find the subject of the sentence. Usually it's located near the beginning of the sentence, usually, and indicated by the subject marker, which you learned, un or nun or i or ga. And in this case, the subject of the sentence will be 우리 가정, which means our family, and it's followed by the un subject marker. The second step for deconstructing long sentences is to find the verb or adjective of the sentence. And that's usually located at the very end of the sentence. And in this case, it's 맹세하다, which is to pledge. And the third step is to find the object of the sentence. And it's usually located between the subject and verb of the sentence and indicated by the object marker 을 or 를. And the fourth step to deconstructing long sentences is to put the results from the above 3 steps together. And congratulations, that's it, and you've done it. And the third and final vital tip for reading Korean is to be patient with yourself. It's probably the most important one. People who study Chu parents' words in depth seldom do so lightly, but rather delve into each word with as much intent as the last. So don't worry if you take a long time to fully understand even a short sentence. You'll get much better at that with practice. Now the final part of phase 4 is to read and fully comprehend the 8 family pledges in the book. So every day for day 31, 32, 33, and 34, you'll be reading and understanding Family Pledge. So now that you've completed reading Family Pledges 1 through 8, congratulations on completing the Family Pledge and being able to read and understand it and making it this far. It's an amazing accomplishment. So this was phase 4. It was a very long phase and you learned a lot. And in phase 5, you will learn how to apprehend any excerpt or any speech by Chu parents. And in this time, we will actually do some real-time Hundoke studying, which you'll be studying Hundoke material from Chu parents' speeches directly. And this is real deal practice. So if you can get through phase 5, you're well on your way to understanding any Korean text or any Hundoke material. So congratulations on getting this far, and I'm really excited for phase 5. So see you then.